The land lay still, mist clung to the valley floor. Two armies faced each other, waiting. The sun struggled to pierce the thick clouds. This field would soon drink blood. The wind whispered secrets, banners flapped listlessly. Men stood in ranks, each man a story. Soon, many stories would end. Far to the west, dark woods bordered the killing ground. To the east, a sluggish river coiled. The ground itself was uneven, perfect for ambush. The commanders had chosen this place. Silence, a heavy, pregnant silence. Only the wind dared to speak, waiting for the first scream. Fear was a living thing. Young recruits shivered. Old veterans stood grim. The fear of knowing, the fear of remembering past slaughters. Prayers were muttered, whispers for protection, for strength, for a swift death, if death must come. A young man touched a wooden charm. His mother had given it to him. He thought of home, of a warm fire, of a girl with laughing eyes. The commanders rode along the lines. Their voices were harsh, meant to inspire, meant to banish fear. Lord Valerius spoke of duty, of glory, of the shame of defeat. Some men straightened, some men shouted, but the fear remained. Across the field, the enemy was a mirror. Soon the waiting would end. A horn blast cut the silence. Sharp, cruel, it echoed across the valley. Then another and another. From the enemy lines, a ripple went through their ranks, a stirring like a beast awakening. Then a low rumble. At first it was faint, barely heard. A vibration in the ground, felt more than heard. It grew, steadily, quickly, becoming a deep, menacing thunder. The earth began to tremble. The horses, the heavy cavalry, they were coming. The enemy knights moved as one, a dark wave of steel and horseflesh. Their lances were lowered, points gleaming like hungry teeth. Pennants streamed behind them. The charge. The impact was a physical blow, a cataclysm of wood, steel, and flesh. The front line of spearmen buckled, shields splintered, spears snapped like twigs. Men screamed, horses screamed. The sound was a raw, tearing agony. The sheer force of the charge was immense. It threw men backwards. Some were trampled under the iron-shod hooves. Others were impaled on lances, lifted from their feet, carried along in the brutal tide. The first wave of knights crashed through. A spearman named Eric held his ground. He braced his spear against the earth, aimed for a charging Destria's chest. The impact jarred his entire body. The horse shrieked, it stumbled, fell. The line was broken. The battle dissolved into countless small fights. Man against man, steel against steel. The grand strategies were gone, lost in the mud and blood. What had started as a well-coordinated assault had now turned into a chaotic melee. The lines had blurred, and the only thing that mattered was survival. The grand strategies were gone, lost in the mud and blood. The battlefield was a grim tableau of fallen soldiers, their lifeless bodies a testament to the ferocity of the conflict. The ground was slick with a mixture of mud and blood, making every step treacherous. It was about instinct now, survival, kill or be killed. Each warrior fought with a primal ferocity, their faces contorted with the effort of battle. The fear of death was a constant companion, driving them to fight harder, faster. Swords rang out, a sharp, brutal music. The clash of steel on steel was a symphony of violence, each strike a note in the deadly composition. The air was filled with the sound of metal meeting metal, a relentless cacophony that echoed across the battlefield. Axes thudded into shields, into flesh. The impact was jarring, a bone-crushing force that sent shockwaves through the combatants. Each blow was a testament to the brutal reality of medieval warfare, where strength and skill were the only things that mattered. Grunts of effort, screams of pain. The sounds of battle were a constant reminder of the stakes. Every scream was a life ending, every grunt a struggle for survival. The noise was overwhelming, a relentless assault on the senses. The air was a cacophony, a symphony of slaughter. The battlefield was a chaotic mess, with soldiers fighting desperately amidst the noise and confusion. The sounds of battle were a constant backdrop, a reminder of the deadly dance they were engaged in. Men slipped in the slick mud. The ground was treacherous, making every step a potential hazard. Soldiers struggled to keep their footing, their movements hampered by the slippery terrain. The mud was a silent enemy, claiming its own share of victims. They fell over the bodies of the dead and dying. The battlefield was littered with the fallen, their bodies a grim obstacle for the living. Each step was a reminder of the cost of war, a testament to the lives lost in the struggle. A grizzled Sergeant Ragnar swung his heavy axe. His movements were precise, each swing a calculated effort to end a life. He was a veteran of many battles, his experience evident in every motion. He moved with a grim economy of motion. Years of battle had taught him the value of efficiency. Every movement was purposeful, every strike intended to kill. He was a master of his craft, a warrior honed by countless conflicts. Years of battle had taught him. He had seen countless comrades fall, had faced death more times than he could count. Each battle had left its mark, shaping him into the warrior he was today. He brought his axe down, cleaving a helmet. The impact was brutal, the helmet offering little resistance to the force of his blow. The enemy fell, another life ended by his hand. His face was spattered with blood, his own, his enemies'. He did not know, he did not care, he saw another target. The blood was a constant presence, a reminder of the violence he was a part of, but in the heat of battle it was just another detail, another part of the chaos. He moved, another swing, another life ended. Each kill was a necessity, a step towards survival. There was no time for hesitation, no room for doubt. Every action was driven by the need to stay alive. There was no glory here, only the grim necessity of survival. The battlefield was a place of death and destruction, where the only goal was to make it through another day. Glory was a distant dream, overshadowed by the harsh reality of war. He fought for the men beside him, for the memory of his fallen brothers. Each swing of his axe was a tribute to those who had fallen, a promise to keep fighting in their name. The bonds of brotherhood were strong, a source of strength in the midst of chaos. Arrows still flew from both sides, arcing high, falling into the sky. The sky was filled with the deadly projectiles, each one a potential death sentence. The archers were relentless, their arrows adding to the chaos on the ground. A deadly rain adding to the chaos, adding to the terror. The arrows fell like a deadly rain, their impact adding to the confusion and fear. Each one was a reminder of the ever-present danger, a testament to the relentless nature of the battle. Bjorn the Berserker, a name that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and inspired awe among his allies. He fought like a maddened bear, bare-chested, roaring. His voice echoed across the battlefield, a primal sound that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. His twin axes were a blur, moving with a speed and precision that seemed almost supernatural. Each swing was a deadly dance, a testament to his unparalleled skill. He carved a path through the enemy ranks. Blood matted his beard, a grim reminder of the lives he had taken. His presence was a whirlwind of destruction, unstoppable and relentless. His eyes were wide, wild. They burned with an intensity that spoke of a man possessed, driven by a force beyond mere human rage. He felt no pain, only the rage, the battle fury. It coursed through his veins like fire, numbing him to the wounds that would have felled lesser men. Men fell before him, terrified by his savagery. They saw not a man, but a beast, a force of nature that could not be reasoned with or stopped. He was a legend, a nightmare. Tales of his ferocity spread far and wide, growing with each retelling until he became more myth than man. For some, he was a hero. For others, a demon. His deeds were sung in mead halls and whispered in fear around campfires. He sought only the heart of the fight, the deepest chaos, the greatest danger. It was there, in the eye of the storm, that he felt truly alive. Lord Alaric, the enemy commander, watched from a small rise. His eyes narrowed as he took in the scene below. His face was a mask of cold calculation. He saw the breach. He saw Bjorn's rampage. He knew that this was a pivotal moment in the battle. He was not pleased, but he was not surprised. He had anticipated chaos, had planned for it. War was a game of strategy, and he was a master player. War was always messy, unpredictable. It was a dance of death, where the slightest misstep could lead to ruin. He signaled to his reserves, a fresh wave of infantry, to exploit the gap or to stem the tide. His orders were relayed. Trumpets blared, their sound cutting through the din of battle. More men marched towards the slaughter. They moved with grim determination, knowing that they were stepping into the jaws of death. Alaric's lips curled into a thin, cruel smile. He relished the chaos, the bloodshed. To him, it was all part of the grand design, a testament to his cunning and ruthlessness. The battle swayed back and forth, a brutal tug-of-war. No side gaining a clear advantage, just a relentless meat grinder. Men tired. Their arms grew heavy. Their movements slowed, but still they fought, driven by something beyond exhaustion. Duty, hate, fear of what came after defeat. The ground was now a carpet of bodies, twisted limbs, staring eyes. The air reeked of death, a thick, cloying stench that choked the lungs. Then a roar went up from Lord Valerius's men, a different kind of roar. Not of fury, but of triumph, or perhaps renewed hope. In the center of the enemy line, a great banner had fallen. The banner of Lord Alaric, the Black Dragon. It lay trampled in the mud, its proud symbol defiled. A standard bearer, a giant of a man, lay dead beside it. The fight for the fallen banner became a vortex, drawing men in. The clash of steel, the cries of the wounded, and the shouts of commanders filled the air. It was a scene of utter chaos, where every man fought not just for victory, but for survival. Valerius himself fought like a demon, his sword a silver flash. His movements were precise, each strike calculated to bring down his foes. He was a whirlwind of death, cutting through the enemy ranks with relentless fury. He sought Alaric, but Alaric was too cunning. The battlefield was vast, and amidst the chaos, finding one man was like finding a needle in a haystack. Valerius's eyes darted from one skirmish to another, hoping to catch a glimpse of his elusive adversary. He was already pulling back his core troops, sacrificing others to cover his retreat. The breach widened. Alaric's strategy was ruthless, but effective, leaving his men to fend for themselves while he ensured the survival of his elite forces. Alaric's men began to break. Panic spread like wildfire, and the once formidable army started to crumble. The cohesion that had held them together was gone, replaced by fear and desperation. First in trickles, then in a flood. The retreat turned into a rout, with soldiers abandoning their posts and fleeing for their lives. The battlefield was now a scene of utter disarray. They threw down their weapons, they ran. The fear of death overcame their sense of duty, and survival became their only goal. The ground was littered with discarded swords and shields, a testament to their desperation. Valerius's men pursued, but they were weary. The long hours of battle had taken their toll, and their strength was waning. Yet they pressed on, driven by the hope of a decisive victory. The slaughter was not yet complete, but the victory was near. The enemy's resolve was broken, and it was only a matter of time before the final blow was struck. Valerius could sense the end was in sight. As dusk began to settle, the sounds of battle faded, replaced by the cries of the wounded, the moans of the dying. The once thunderous clash of arms was now a haunting symphony of pain and suffering. The field was a ruin, a testament to human savagery. Bodies lay strewn across the ground, the earth soaked with blood. The aftermath of the battle was a grim reminder of the cost of war. Lord Valerius stood amidst the carnage. His eyes scanned the devastation, taking in the full extent of the destruction. He had seen many battles, but the sight never ceased to weigh heavily on his heart. His armor was dented, his face streaked with grime and blood. He was tired, bone-tired. Every muscle in his body ached, and the weight of his armor felt like a burden he could barely bear. But a grim satisfaction filled him. They had held, they had won. The enemy was in retreat, and the day was theirs, yet the victory was bittersweet, marred by the heavy losses they had suffered, but at what cost? So many dead, so many lost. The victory felt heavy. A messenger approached Valerius. "My lord," he panted, "Lord Alaric has retreated." The news brought a momentary relief, but the weight of the fallen still pressed upon him. But his forces are not shattered. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Valerius knew that this was just one of many struggles to come. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, and the cost of victory would continue to mount.